106.2 FM.
Hey everyone, we're about to start.
IDC Radio, in collaboration with Cajon.
Good evening and welcome to Traveling Blues. This evening we've got some guests from overseas, but first let's give you a taste of a brand new album that came out from Big Dave McLean. I've talked about him before. He's based in Winnipeg, Canada, and he's got a fantastic crew on his second album in I think 2 years. After not doing an album for about 35 years, he suddenly came out with 2 albums. And the album is called Better the Devil You Know. And here is one of the tracks. Big Dave McLean.
Maayan, I can only see one of you.
Put it there.
No, put it anywhere because it doesn't have a stand.
Let me.
It's fine. את רואה אותי?
Yeah. תסתכלי בעין. What is the call?
I'm wondering how much longer could it be till it comes tumbling down over me. Come deliver me from this now.
We're here.
All the love that we have found, we're giving it underground.
תחליטי, אם את רוצה אני אצלם בזה או בזה.
זה שני דברים שונים. תישארו בלייב פיד, יהיה מגניב, תפתחי את הרעיון, ממש כיף שאלי מרקוס הזמין אותנו. זהו, אנחנו כאן, סטודיו מדהים.
ואין לי אמא בטריה, להבינה, תכף אני מתחברת.
איפה שמו את הליד שיט? שם זה שם.
אמא, את יכולה להביא את זה? את מה? את הליד שיט.
אני אצא אותה.
את המה? את המה?
לא, לא משנה, הוא יביא. רק תזכרי שזה פה.
היא במודעות אליי.
רק שתדעי, כל דבר... עכשיו אני כאן פה.
לא, אי אפשר שם, אין שם.
גם יש מלא לך. וואי, בסדר. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I see it. Tylor.
Big Dave McLean, and that's from a brand new album called Better the Devil You Know, and that tune was called Deliver Me. Let's hear now a tune called Deep Down in Florida, Big Dave McLean.
Oh, the charger.
מעיין, רואים אותך בזווית לא טובה.
בסדר, תפסיקי את הלייב שלך. את מדברת עליי בלייב, כאילו.
Bring it to me.
Wait.
I'm gonna do yours here. תביא את ה... Bring us the מטען.
I hope I have one actually. I think I may have left it. Oh no. Oh yeah, I have
Where the sunshine
have
down
this.
here every day.
מה כתוב פה דן? almost. תסתכלי רגע.
I believe I'll go back down to Florida.
It's okay.
תני לי את המטען.
Where the sunshine down here every day. I'll take my baby
יודעת שאת
down
משדרת עכשיו.
עכשיו אני אסכם.
all in the sand to play.
יש לך איפה להעמיד את זה?
Yeah, I believe I'll go down to
On a stand
Gainesville
or something? No. Never mind.
just to see if
זה, המרגש שלי. תיזהרי, זה מלא בהרדיסקים.
I'll go back
זה
down
לא
to
זול.
Gainesville.
למה לא?
Because it should stand on something.
You know, buddy of mine.
No. Never mind.
Well, if we're not too busy,
תוכלי לשתול את זה מאחורי זה?
Can. He has.
I believe I'll go down to New Berry sometime.
נכון. זיזי זה
Down to
לשם
New Berry.
טיפה.
Last minute recording.
צריכה סטנד מקצועי, למה אין לך סטנד
Because we
מקצועי?
didn't think about doing that.
And when I'm leaving in the morning, I think I'll be up and on my way. Well, yeah, I'm getting myself up at plenty of times. I don't want to make myself late. Well, you know, I believe I'll go back down to Gainesville. And this time I'm gonna stay.
Don't worry about me. I'm gonna get back. אולי תזוז טיפה יותר לכיוון שלו.
אני צריכה את המטפל.
בסדר. It's the best you can do.
Yeah, deep down in Florida, that's a place that I long to be. Well, deep down in Florida, that's a place I long to be. I take my baby out in the backyard and sit down under that old orange tree.
Big Dave McLean, I've talked about him before. He was the person who inspired me to buy the National guitar that I own, because I saw him back in the old days in Toronto in the Fingerboard Folk Club, which I ended up managing at some point, and the sound of the National together with his singing was so powerful that I was literally awestruck and went out, started searching for my own National guitar. Let's give you one of the blues birthdays that we have this week. Mr. David Essig, also expat American who's been living in Canada for something like 40 years, and he's an expert of all kinds of tunings, slide guitar, all kinds of instrumentals, and the blues. From David, I learned some of my Mississippi John Hurt riffs by watching him at festivals and hanging out in different bars back in Toronto. So let's say happy birthday to David Essig, and this is a tune called Keep Your Lamp Trimmed and Burnin'.
I wish we got something to drink.
Bring you something.
אפשר להביא מים אולי מהמטבחון.
אני מפסיקה את שלי.
Yeah, you can stop it. You can start it again later. Leave mine on. Tashiri.
Yeah, but I have to
Leave it. Leave it.
I have to fix the...
No, leave it. Just leave it.
לא רואים את טיילור, מה זה leave it?
Okay. Maybe put it there, Ema. Put it there. The entire thing. Put it there. Careful.
No, it's like all the hard disks.
Stick it.
זה לא העניין הזה, מעיין, תניחי לי. זה לא קשור לגובה. בסדר? זה קשור לאיך שזה עומד.
לא, תעשי את זה באלכסון.
הנה, עכשיו בסדר. זהו. Okay, what do you need? To drink something? You need something, Ellie? Where's the kitchen?
אז אמרת A flat או A sharp?
A sharp.
או B flat? Happy birthday, David Essig. That's an instrumental from one of the recent albums that he sent me about a couple of months ago. Let's go for station ID and we'll introduce our guests. Let's try to turn on all the guest microphones and see if they work.
Test 1, 2. Sounds good.
Hello, hello.
Get a little bit more volume there. And
How about now?
yeah, I told you, you need to lean into the mics. We've got in the studio today daughter of a friend named Maayan and her accompanist Tylor. And they're both from New York City these days. And they've been vacationing in Israel and performing a little bit. And do you have another album on the way, or?
Yeah, we actually have a single coming up soon and recording more songs for the project. We're now performing as a duo, materials that I wrote and now started writing together as well for the new project. We do have a previous album. I have a previous album out, science fiction, and it was released in 2014. Recorded here in Israel and also in New York and LA. Produced by Ofer Eckerling, and some of the musicians are Yossi Fine and Yohan Gilshowski. So.
Yeah, I saw the credits on the album. And but you've taken a little bit of a different direction in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, most definitely. We've gone more acoustic. Started out as a 7-piece band and turned out as a duo after a tour that we did. That was supposed to be a full band tour, but ended up being just the two of us, and we fell in love with the sound and the concept. And the previous album was more, more jazzy, bluesy, fusion, some power ballads. And this one is more folky, very rocking. So yeah, definitely some changes.
Let's play a couple of tunes from that previous album, Science Fiction. I went through the whole thing today while I was working on my floor in my living room. And the only tunes that were remotely bluesy for me were this one, Lose Control, and the one we'll play right after.
Cool.
Are these different mixes from the album? Because the Dark Side on the album had like a whole intro section or something.
And this one doesn't?
Like chit chat or something. Noises.
Yeah.
This one didn't.
Oh, it's weird. Maybe I sent the wrong one. Can
No,
you play
because the
from
one
the
on the
CD?
album was a little bit rough, you know, it was like, it was as if you did a take after you'd done everything else and you sort of wanted to like jam in the studio.
Are we live on that one?
Yeah, well, we're live on my phone.
Yeah, that's what we do.
But anyhow, but the which one do you like better?
This one, I think.
Okay, good.
This one's more swinging. No, the Dark Side has a groove to it, but on the album it didn't sound that good.
That's cool. That's cool with me.
So now they hear this what we hear here, נכון? באולפן.
What?
שומעים עכשיו ברדיו את הטיון.
We're live. We're being broadcast live right now on the internet and 106.2 FM in the general area. You can hear it actually all the way down to South Tel Aviv. I've even heard it on the highway once or twice coming out of Rehovot.
And you feature what? New artists?
It's a strictly blues show most of the time, and I mix up both new and old. I try to introduce people first of all to the richness of the blues. I also have a lot of contacts around the world with artists I knew in Canada, artists I've met since then, artists that have contacted me. I get literally dozens and dozens of albums every month from all over the world. I've got albums from Italian blues, Slovakian blues, Croatian blues, Turkish blues, Russian blues, Litvak blues, Swedish blues, Danish blues, representation from just about every country in Western Europe, a little bit of Eastern Europe,
So when you listen to Maayan's album and this song in particular now, yeah, what do you recognize in it? You know, what influences besides the blues?
It's got a syncopation, it's got a bit of a groove to it, but it's really, you know, to me it's a pop song.
Mm-hmm.
The singing, she's going towards more soul on this particular tune. But most of the album, I wouldn't use it as an example of what you do now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't distribute it at all, actually, if I were you. No, I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, it's
Because it
good.
doesn't represent anything like what you're doing now. It's true.
We've gone a long way since we have.
So that was a song called Lose Control. And tell me a little bit about how you met all the musicians. And Ofer Eckerling, who is a well-known studio person in Israel, he had a couple of hits back in the early 80s, and since then he's become an established studio personality. He has one of the more highly equipped studios, I understand, in the country, and a lot of experience and a lot of people that he's recorded. How did you come about to picking that particular crew and that particular studio?
Well, first time that I met Ofer was in one of his previous studios. I believe it was in Jaffa, and I must have been 14 or 15 years old. And my mother was working with him on a project. She was filming, I can't recall which one, which project that was.
It was Indie Sessions. That's exactly what it was.
Indie Sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I was maybe filming at the time, and I was inspired by the setting. And a couple years later, when I decided I wanted to take my music to the next level and really focus on it, he was the first person that I reached out to, him and Ori Shohat. Worked with both of them on 2 different projects. Years later, when I was visiting from New York after I had already moved, I decided to work with Ofer because the unique sound and the warm sound that he gives to his productions, and just the good chemistry I always had with him. He was kind of like a mentoring figure for me. So it was an easy choice because I felt very comfortable with him. And of course his work.
And the musicians, did you pick them or did Ofer pick them?
Well, it was a process that we did together. They're good friends of his, and I was familiar with their work. And we considered a few people, and honestly, we didn't think about it very long. It was kind of clear to us that they should be playing on the album, and the whole vision was developing the tunes from their previous stage, which some of them were productions that I did as electronic productions on my own, and some of them I produced with different producers, and I had since started to play them live, and I wanted to capture that and really pick the best songs from my songs back in that time, and we transformed them from what they were into unified sound, cohesive sound for the songs. And it turned out really interesting. It was really a trip. You know, I didn't know where we were heading. And definitely it was a learning experience for me. It was terrific.
There's certainly an interesting bunch of musicians there. A lot of them are actually friends of mine. And they're quite talented people. Let's talk about New York. I used to be in the Toronto folk scene. I had a folk club, and there's a community. There's all kinds of open stages. In Toronto, we had an open stage actually for every night of the week. So you could just walk around every night of the week, play a different stage, go to a different folk club. and meet a lot of different people in the community. Sometimes you met them too often, but that's another story. But tell me about the New York scene. What's it like today?
Well, the New York scene is very interesting. There's always something going on. I think it's always been that way. And in my view, there are always a lot of scenes and things going on, but the vibe is very competitive. I felt there was a need for more of a communal vibe, and I felt that was missing. So I started to host open mics and jam nights that were focused on acoustic music and folk music and singer-songwriters or bands that want to perform acoustic performances that are stripped down.
Where did this happen?
Mainly in the East Village, also in Brooklyn, in various venues. A lot of the musicians expressed a similar opinion that they were lacking the support of a community. And I think that's something that's growing, not just with events like ours, but just because it's needed, so it's happening. We were just in LA, for example, and felt like maybe there's more of a communal vibe there, or the West Coast in general. Felt that there was more of a supportive sort of feel. But other than that, you know, New York is amazing. It's very inspiring. Everybody comes from all over the world, obviously, to create and connect, and I love it.
It's not hard for someone who isn't well known to come and play on stage somewhere and get into the scene?
I think what it is, it's sort of an illusion. Like, before you get your first show, you think that it's so hard to play and get booked. But once you realize it's not, and you just have to bring your friends, and the more shows you play and promote, people notice it, and all of a sudden you're booking shows every day. You can literally play every day in New York. There's always a bar, a restaurant, so many places. And once people see that you're performing a lot, then all of a sudden you get booked for better venues, and you have to have determination, and you have to have patience, and kind of humble yourself. You really do. But once you do that, it becomes very easy to grow.
And is it actually possible to make some money from it as well?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it's a hard process, but it's definitely something you can do.
Yeah. I don't know. It's at a certain point in the beginning. I was working a lot of side jobs, and bartending and the sorts. And at a certain point, I decided it was killing my soul, and I just didn't want to continue. And I said, I have to.
I'm only waitressing until I become a star.
yeah. And I just felt like I can't do this anymore. It's not. I have to make this happen, and I don't care how. And then I started busking and playing in the subway platforms and streets. And
is there any problem with that? Because I know there are certain cities where you have to have a license, and otherwise the police chase you away or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes they interfere, but for the most part, you can play if you sort of play by the rules. Which you can play on the mezzanine with an amp, but without an amp on the platform, but it's not really enforced. And then if a cop tells you to stop, then you should stop and be kind about it, and come back tomorrow.
Right. Do you have a live song to do for us?
Yeah. We wanted to perform our upcoming single, and we also wanted to do a cover. Which one would you like us to do first?
Let's do the single first.
All right, so we're gonna play "Way to You." It's our upcoming single. It's not out yet. We just recorded it in LA, and we're gonna start.
Where in LA?
Oh yeah, we recorded in Sunset Sound Studios. The legendary Sunset Sound.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. The room where we recorded is the same room where Led Zeppelin recorded Stairway to Heaven.
Oh,
When
wow.
I learned that, I was nearly in tears. All right, anyhow. I was laying in my bed at night when it dawned on me something's changed in me, and I'm ready now. The compass in my heart found more. The game clock strikes two, it's time to leave. Forget the plans.
Let's go to station ID. Okay, let's play that other track from the album. I think this might be a shorter mix. And you've got a show going on tomorrow night at Jean-Jacques Studios. That's Thursday, December 1st, downtown Tel Aviv on Sonsino Street. And that's a sort of like an open house party and recording session.
Exactly. We're going to be doing some filming. So it's going to be a tape performance. There are going to be drinks and food. So, space is limited, but definitely come. Try and get in there. It's going to be a fun night. We're going to be playing 5 songs and talking and just having a good time.
Great, great. Yeah, let's play The Dark Side. Oh, that is what I heard on the album.
You brought the dark side out of me, my lover. You made me love the pain, love the pain. And when we were
Do you have another cover besides the James? Because I don't think I can play that cold.
Yeah. Brought me back to those days. Blues cover.
Or Tylor can use my guitar if he wants.
You can do it. He learned it today too.
You honored to play that Tylor though.
If he's cool with it,
Yeah, nice one.
can you transpose quickly? It's only a half a step down. These are
Yeah,
the chords.
I remember it. We,
I just don't know the rhythm, that's all.
all the keys.
Just point the mic down and should pick up the guitar fairly well. I don't know why these things aren't as sensitive to vocals, but they pick up guitars like really, really nice.
It's like balanced perfectly, but it should stay.
הדרך שהיא עברה, על כל הדרך המוזיקלית שלה, או שזה לא מעניין.
Was that it? Yeah, I guess so. Got one more song live from Maayan here in the studio. And what are we doing now?
We are doing a song by Etta James. It's called Damn Your Eyes. Etta James definitely influenced me. So that's why I picked it.
Okay, great. And Tyler's playing guitar on this one.
Ready?
I can do what I want, I'm in complete control. That's what I tell myself. I got a mind of my own, I'll be alright alone. Don't need anybody else. And I gave myself a good talking to. No more being a fool for you. And I see you, and all I remember is how you made me want to surrender. Damn your eyes for taking my breath away, for making me want to say, damn your eyes for keeping my hopes up high, for making me fall in love again. Damn your eyes. It's always a shame. You say that you'll change, somehow you never do. And I believe all your lies, that look in your eyes, you make it all seem true. I see what I wanna see, or is it my heart just deceiving me? With that look I know so well, I fall completely under your spell. Damn your eyes for taking my breath away, for making me wanna stay. Damn your eyes for keeping my hopes up high, for making me fall in love again. Damn your eyes. You keep deliberately deceiving me, making me see what I wanna see. Damn your eyes for taking my breath away, making me fall in love again. Damn your eyes for keeping my hopes up high, for making me fall in love again. Oh, damn your eyes, goddamn eyes, goddamn eyes. Damn your
Well, I thank you for coming down to the studio this evening and sharing your music with us. And I hope that we hear more from you in the near future. And we've got another 2.5 weeks here in Israel.
Yeah.
Any more specific shows you want to advertise or tell people about?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having us here.
Yeah,
This is
thank
such
you, Ellie.
a
It's been great.
pleasure and a great honor. We have a show at Freddie Lemon's Bamabashuk. That's in Jerusalem, in the market. And that's December 13th. It's going to be a Tuesday at 9:30 p.m.
Okay.
And yeah, we hope some people in that area can come out. I know it's not the area we're currently linked to, but you never know.
מעלה החמישה?
December 11th, I think you're going to be on my friend Owen's radio show, Quadrophonia.
Yeah, that's right. We're looking forward to that as well.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to station identification.